This is 2.2, solving inequalities using addition or subtraction. So an equivalent inequality would be an inequality or multiple inequalities that have the same solutions. So we're going to use properties of inequalities to produce equivalent inequalities. These are going to be basically the same as the properties of equality. So we're doing almost exactly the same thing that we did when we had equations. We're just having inequality symbols instead of equal signs. So adding or subtracting the same number on each side of an inequality produces an equivalent inequality. So we can see if we add 3 on each side, we still get something true. And if we subtract the same number on each side, we're still going to have something true. So we can see if A is greater than B, or if A is greater than or equal to B, then adding the same number on each side is also true. And same if A is less than B or A is less than or equal to B, then adding the same thing on each side is also true. Same thing if we were to subtract these for all of them. So we're going to solve and graph a couple of inequalities. For x minus 4, which is greater than 16, we're looking to get x by itself, so we're going to add 4 to each side, and 16 plus 4 is 20. To graph this, we make a number line, put our number on there, and since it is or equals to, we fill in the circle. And x must be larger than 20, so we shade the right side of the graph. Whatever we do to one side of the inequality, we must do to the other. That is what these mean. Alright, so if negative 3 is less than 8x plus 8, we're going to subtract 8 on each side, and negative 11 is less than x. To graph this one, it will have an open circle because it is just less than, and negative 11 is smaller than x, so x must be larger, so we're still shading the right side. We're just going to solve these, we're not going to graph them. So to get x by itself, we subtract 7 on each side, and x is less than 9. For x plus 4 is less than negative 2, we subtract 4 on each side to get x is less than negative 6. For x plus 6 is less than or equal to 21, we're going to subtract 6, and x is less than or equal to 15. And for x is less than, x minus 1 is greater than or equal to negative 6. Add 1 to each side to get x is greater than or equal to negative 5. So we're doing the exact same thing, just getting x by itself, and the inequality symbol stays the same when we add or subtract on each side. A couple more. These ones have variables on both sides of the inequality, and so we're going to do the same thing. We need all variables on the same side. To get all variables on the same side, I can subtract x. Then that gives 2 is less than or equal to 3 plus x. I want x by itself, so we subtract 3 on each side and get negative 1 is less than or equal to x. Over here, we have x plus 4 is greater than or equal to 3x minus a negative 7. So first we can get all variables together, so we subtract x again. And 4 is greater than or equal to 2x minus negative 7. This minus negative is a negative 1 multiplied by negative 7. So that makes it a plus 7. So we subtract 7 on each side. And negative 3 is greater than or equal to 2x. To get x by itself, divide by 2 on each side, and negative 3/2 is greater than or equal to x. And one more example. A weightlifter's knees will buckle if he lifts more than 200 pounds. He has 165 pounds on the bar already. Write and solve an inequality to show how much more weight he can add before his knees will buckle. So I know I'm going to have 200, and it says if he lifts more than that. So 200 is the maximum he can lift. He already has 165, so we need to figure out how much more we can add on. So my inequality is going to be 200 is greater than or equal to because 200 is the maximum, so whatever he lifts has to be smaller than. He can lift 200 because it says his knees will buckle if he lifts more than that. So 200 is fine, so it can be or equals to. And then we have 165 already, plus how much more he can add on. So we're going to take this inequality and solve for x. So we subtract 165 on each side, and 35 is greater than or equal to x. So our answer says he can add up to 35 more pounds.